flash. Mother Nature had targeted the 125-year-old radiata pine, and in spite of all the tender loving care lavished upon it, the shock was more than it could take. The old Stenner Street resident was ailing, and the ultimate decision was made. It was 1988, our bicentennial year, and the Toowoomba City Council, in its wisdom, decided that for this tree, its end was to be the beginning of a new life. It was relocated at Queen's Park, and here it would await a whole new reconstruction. The park had taken on the appearance of a giant surgery. However, instead of being used for instruments of destruction, these chainsaws will sculpt a new life into the dead limbs. New Zealand-born Shane Stevens views the wood as a blank canvas and uses the chainsaw as an artist uses his brush, and in no time new life springs from the lifeless old tree. Himself an environmentalist, Shane does not believe in cutting down live trees and dislikes seeing dead ones being destroyed. So wherever possible he uses the very instrument which brought the tree to the ground to create a new meaning in the branches and trunk of this once majestic old pine. Shane traces his interest in wood sculpture back to his Polynesian heritage. His mother was Polynesian, and wood carving was in her tradition. He's been whittling wood since he was very young, and from that he graduated to using chainsaws. With one side now completed, the delicate operation of turning the giant sculpture over created quite a problem, and there were a few anxious moments as the tree finally rolled into place. A close inspection revealed no damage to the existing work, and so he proceeded with the other side. A number of different sized chainsaws were used in the operation, and it proved to be a greater task than first thought. After removing unwanted blemishes and working around knotholes, once the bark was removed, it was soon evident that it was to become a giant totem pole with an Aboriginal theme. Already shapes like dolphins, koalas, whales, and faces had appeared, and every day more and more figures had been carved in the now completely naked tree. As the work was almost finished, a change of instruments was necessary. High-speed grinders were brought into action to smooth off unwanted blemishes. At last the task had been completed, and along with the hundreds of passers-by, a very weary sculptor was able to remove his protective gear and stand back to admire his artistic ability. The sculpture was removed from public scrutiny and placed out of harm's way, for it was to undergo a few preparations to prolong its life as much as possible. Under cover, a very poisonous gas was administered to eliminate any termites or borers that may have attacked the wood during its 125 years of growth. Seeing the bark had been removed, the bare timber had to be given a protective coat of paint to prevent it from splitting now that it was subjected to the elements. This was the first time any city had taken on a project such as this, and a great deal of debate went on as to where it was to be located. A decision was finally made, and it now stands tall at the entrance to Picnic Point Lookout. A great deal of time and energy had been donated by business houses and citizens since that fateful day Mother Nature struck the old pine that cruel blow. However, out of the sawdust a monument to nature has risen, and Toowoomba can be proud of being the first provincial city to have its very own totem pole.